QSMART, this is a paper that a couple of my PhD students worked on, but Nguyen in particular pulled it together, and Cheng Chuan was the one that started it, and an excellent postdoc worker, and a whole bunch of people that come both from Melbourne University, from Monash, and from the Florey worked on this. And QSM is quantitative susceptibility mapping, and everybody's got their favourite technique. But of course, I'm going to say that we've got the world-beating technique in QSMART. And what we do here is essentially have a way of removing the artifact better than the existing methods. And so here is our QSMART technique on the left-hand side, and here are two other comparison methods. And again, I won't go into any details here, but hopefully you can see that if you want to avoid the streaky artifact and these black-white banding around the cortical surface and at the vasculature, then this QSMART method really cleans up the images. And it cleans up the images without doing the kind of dodgy brain erosion tricks that other methods might use. So this is an example of something really practical that we now turn to our clinical collaborators and say, oh, we're collecting QSM data for you. You shouldn't process your QSM data just using that software that you've used in the past. Here's a method that we've developed within the NIF node, or across NIF nodes, in fact. Here's a method called QSMART. We've got it working as a pipeline on the computer. This is what you should use to analyze your data. And I really like that about NIF, that it goes beyond the capacity and the capability across the network goes beyond just what we acquire. It's not kind of, here, take a microscope image and take it and do with it what you like. It's a real collaboration between the people that come in with an interesting question that they want to solve, such as in Parkinson's disease, what is the accumulation of iron like across the brain? Now, we're not directly answering that question, but my goodness, we're helping with that question, because you can imagine if you use a method like this one on the right, and you're looking at the deep grey matter structures in the brain, you can get a very different quantitation out of it if you use this image versus using this one. And I'm not saying that either is completely 100% right, but there's a lot less artifact if you use this method. Does that make sense?
So, yeah, so ultimately, using a more refined image like the ones that QSMART can provide can have positive impacts for people who are suffering with degenerative neurological diseases like dementia, with the use of an interpretation like this.
So let's put it this way. There's a few steps in between, as with all translational research. But by cleaning up the images, we're giving the clinician researchers and the fundamental neuroscience researchers, we're giving them the tools that they need to be able to do accurate quantitation about things that are going on in the brain in these neurodegenerative diseases. And by doing so, they're going to be able to understand the fundamental, mechanisms that are going on in the brain, and that's what's going to lead to better outcomes for the patients.